Welcome back to Grant World War II Museum. Today we have a very special item for you. This is our original defense overprint map of Omaha Beach East. We'll be covering the various red overprints, such as the Czech hedgehogs or mined stakes, as well as various WN defense points. As this is a beach obstacle map, it doesn't show bunkers and similar defense positions. Because of this, we'll also talk about these WN defense points and show the areas that these would have been in. Let's dive in. WN66. WN66 is the first defensive position that appears on the Omaha Beach East map. It consists of three main points. The first was an NR1694 emplacement, which housed a 5cm KWK L62 gun. The second consisted of this villa, which used as a bunker slash observation post. It was one of the only houses still close to the waterfront and had a bunker built into its cellar. The lower left-hand side was a machine gun position, which hit the Americans very hard as they landed to the left of this house. Finally, there was a 1x1 C116 Tobruk, which housed an MG34. WN66 did also include two 8cm mortars, several more machine guns, and flamethrowers. I will also address some of the first features we come across on the map here. First, we have these large ovals with numbers above them. These are the famous Czech hedgehogs, the big X's you see on the beach. The numbers above are simply how many are inside the oval shown. We then have these circles with little arrows above them. These would have been the wooden stakes with mines atop. They were used to force a landing at low tide, as at high tide these stakes would just protrude above the water and could blow holes in the landing craft approaching. WN65 consisted of quite a few defensive positions. Firstly, there were two R667 casemates. The first contained a 5cm KWK L62 gun, the same type that was in WN66. The other R667, however, was still under construction. At the top of WN65, they had a 75mm PaK-40 positioned in the valley. Directly behind it was also another 81mm mortar position. I'll now address one of the other features on the defensive overprint. This large red line is an anti-tank ditch, one of the biggest on Omaha Beach, and it defended one of the rows to Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer. Lastly, you had three more positions closer to the beach, two 5cm PaK-38 AT guns, and further along the trench that connected them, another MG34 Tobruk. WN64. WN64 was a position on the opposite side of the valley to WN65. It was a weave of trenches containing artillery equipment rather than anti-tank. The first position was an R612 bunker that was under construction. It was due to house the gun adjacent to it in a sandbag position, a captured Soviet 7.62cm IKH-290R field gun. There were quite a few captured weapons deployed on Omaha Beach, and not the usual 88mm guns and hundreds of MG42s that Hollywood would have you believe. Further up the trench line from the field gun, you had two 8cm mortar positions. Defending these were two machine gun Tobruks. However, these Tobruks face inland to defend the mortar's flanks. WN64 also had many minefields. These appear on the defense overprint map here. Above the labelled minefield, you had N, D, and S. This N, number of rows, D was the distance between each row, and the S, the spacing between each mine. Here you can see a few more examples of the minefields. WN62. WN62 is probably the most famous WN, due to the book of the same name, which talks about the account of Heinrich Servalo. Also known as the Beast of Omaha, Servalo claims that as an MG42 machine gunner, he inflicted over 1,000 casualties to the American soldiers landing on Omaha Beach on D-Day. He was positioned here in an observation bunker. There were also two R669 bunkers housing artillery pieces, with another under construction here. Two other machine guns here, consisting of an MG34 and a water-cooled MG08, and there were also two 5cm mortars and one 8cm mortar here. Finally, at the top of the hill, there was a 75mm Pak 40. WN62 was one of the most well-defended positions on Omaha Beach. WN61. WN61 was just the other side of the causeway from WN62. The first major emplacement was an R677 bunker, which housed the mighty 88mm Pak 43. This Pak had a firing arc across the beach. Just behind it was another bunker, which consisted of a 37mm tank turret taken from a Czech Panzer 35T. To the left of that housed a mortar to rook. The final position in WN61 was a 5cm Pak gun and a machine gun to brook, located here and here. In front of all these positions lay a large anti-tank ditch, as you can see marked on the defense map. WN60. WN60 is the last WN position on Omaha Beach East. It was located on the eastern cliffside. The first frontal position consisted of two 75mm FK235B Belgium artillery pieces in bunkers with a tunnel connecting the two. Behind these were a total of 11 bunker/Tobruk positions. These were a mix of 5cm mortars, observation points, and machine gun positions. Now going over the last areas of the map, we have this long black bar. This is the view from the ocean, and it lines up with the map above to give the soldiers an idea of what the coastline would look like from their perspective. I made sure to get this video out specifically for today, being the 6th of June. With that, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more of the items we have in the museum, hit that subscribe button.